Oh.
Hi there, everybody, and welcome to Abraham Lincoln's tomb. I'm Brian Barstead. I'm your immediate past district governor. And we picked this spot today because I think it might be the most hallowed ground where we could possibly have a conversation in our district's territory. We're standing here 2 days before Good Friday in the year 2020, 155 years after another Good Friday in 1865, when President Lincoln was assassinated at the end of the bloodiest conflict in all of our nation's history before or since. I visited this tomb many times. I'm a Springfielder, and I come here a lot of times when I'm just feeling kind of down, or when I feel like the country needs some spiritual help, or when I personally have had problems in my life dealing with things, and it gives me a lot of comfort. We can't go into the tomb today because, as you know, we're all afflicted with this little crisis of a different sort, big crisis, brought on by a tiny little thing called a coronavirus novel 19. We Rotarians are familiar with viruses, aren't we? In fact, we've almost expunged polio from the face of the earth because we've helped get vaccines to people in places that nobody's ever been able to do it before. We don't have a vaccine for COVID-19 yet, but until we do, we've been asked to try a new way of interacting with each other. It's something called social distancing. I don't think I ever heard of that before, social distancing. It's kind of the opposite of the way that normally Rotarians interact. So you can add Rotary to the long list of businesses, organizations, things like churches, schools that have basically shut down a little bit due to this little virus. I brought my friend Ryan with me, Ryan Byers, the district governor nominee, soon to be district governor-elect of Rotary, District 6460, and Ryan wanted to add a few ideas to the conversation as well.
Thanks, Brian. You know, they say necessity is the mother of invention, and we want to thank and praise all of the clubs who we've seen figured out other ways to have fellowship in their communities during this past month. Many of you are simply reaching out to your members, making calls, or sending other messages of encouragement. Some of you are taking advantage of new technologies, social media, crowd gathering sites like Facebook Live, GoToMeeting, and Zoom, things that old Abe didn't know anything about. And I imagine some of you might decide to start an e-club now that we've seen how easy it is to meet this way. This will add another method for Rotary to widen its audience and membership, particularly with busy younger people like myself. We encourage you to continue to keep in touch the best you can, to keep in the habit of Rotary so that when this is over, we'll be back, and you know we'll be better than ever. I assume that many of you may be having issues with your businesses or income this year because of this shutdown. I want to ask all of you Rotarians to please consider going out of your normal way to help your fellow Rotarians by patronizing their businesses and encouraging others to do the same. If you can't do it now because of social distancing, I hope you'll do it when things open up again. Now is also a good time to chat with your community leaders about how they might be able to use a group of civic volunteers to help them get things done. But as we enter the fourth quarter of this Rotary year, we really need a personal kindness from each and every one of you. At the end of March, our year-to-date contributions to the annual fund of the Rotary Foundation of Rotary International were down by about 10% compared to the same time last year. And historically, the strongest quarter for your contributions is the quarter that starts in April and finishes out the Rotary year in June. In other words, our annual fund this year really needs your help.
There are a lot of charities that want your contributions. I know you want to help as many as you can. Just remember, however, there is only one charity that's had a 4-star rating from Charity Navigator 12 years in a row. Last year, they scored 100 for perfect stewardship. And there's very few charities in the world that ever get 100. We've done it 3 out of the last 5 years. So that just proves to me that Rotary doesn't waste your money. You know how they use your money locally. You know how hard it is to get a district grant. You know how you've got to justify how you spend that money, and you have to account for it. So I know you're trying to help all the charities you can. Just make sure that Rotary Foundation is on your list. And your investment with TRF, the Rotary Foundation, can help many causes. I want to draw your specific attention to the annual fund of TRF. This is the fund that provides dollars for our district club grants, as well as for matching money for the global grants and other things that we do. You know how it works. Your money goes to TRF for 3 years. The interest runs its administrative process. Then after 3 years, half of that money comes back to the district in the form to help us with our club grants, and the other half goes to help with the global grants and the World Fund that we do. Therefore, the more you give, the more we get back. Your investment helps any club that qualifies for a grant, and that club might be your own. So please, go to rotary.org/give and make a donation, or just download a form on rotary.org and send in a check. If that's too complicated, just talk to your club's president or foundation chair. We even have an 800 number that you can call, and you can do it over the phone using your credit card. It's easy, and if it's hard, and you want it to be easier, just call Ryan or myself and we'll walk you through it, or your club's president or your club's foundation chair. We want to make it easy, and we want to thank you for the gifts that you make. We know it's hard to do these days. We appreciate any amount of giving that you help us with. So we're going to be announcing an exciting new foundation recognition points matching program for donors for between now and the end of June. We'll have that information out shortly. And we want to do that just to give some encouragement and to say thank you for those of you who help your district and help Rotary through your annual giving. Thank you again to all of you Rotarians and your support of the clubs for TRF so far, and thanks in advance to those of you who will give any amount in the future. Any amount makes a difference. I just can't leave a Lincoln shrine without a Lincoln quote. So I thought this one from an 1859 speech he made to a group of farmers and entrepreneurs in Wisconsin might be appropriate. Kind of sounded like he was talking to a Rotary Club, but Paul Harris hadn't been born yet, so this was kind of a prequel, I guess you'd say. Lincoln said, and I quote, he said, "It is said an Eastern monarch once charged his wise men to invent him a sentence to be ever in view, and which should always be true and appropriate in all times and situations. They presented him the words, quote, 'And this too shall pass away.' How much it expresses, how chastening in this hour of pride, how consoling in the depths of affliction. And this too shall pass away." We've been through tough times in our world's history, and in Rotary's 115-year history, we've been through many challenges. Here we go again, and this too shall pass away. Keep safe, stay healthy, support good causes, say prayers for our medical professionals and our first responders. And let's hope we have a little good luck too. We could use a little luck. And Ryan, if you wouldn't mind coming over here with your camera, we're gonna do a little ritual that we do in Springfield. But we're gonna do the nose rub the 2020 style. Instead of rubbing the nose, we're just gonna kind of wave at the nose.
Abe.
And I brought a little hand sanitizer when we're done so that Ryan and I don't get sick. So, best of luck to all of you. Best of luck to our state. Best of luck to our district. Best of luck to the Rotary world. And let's keep Rotary in your mind. Keep your friends and your family in mind. And let's get through this. And I can't wait to see you all again next time we're all together.
Stay safe, all.